Alright, now today I'm just going to explain to you the idea behind building Lego robots. So a lot of people do not know how to build robots, they don't have an idea, but basically once you have a framework, it's easier to work with. Alright, normally the brick we will put it on last because this is the heaviest of all parts in the Lego. So this can be used to balance your robot accordingly. Alright, now this is a H-beam which is very useful to link two of these motors together. So how are we going to link them? We are going to use pegs, okay, to put on the first and the last hole at the side of this H-beam. Okay, we put two here, rotate over, and we put another two on top and at the bottom. Alright, so after this you can put the robots, the motor, there are two holes there, you can just lock it in from both sides. So it looks something like this. Alright, so it's rather stable, you won't fall out. Okay, next we need to stabilize the whole of this structure. So it is good to have a long beam that can fix the top also. So it actually helps to stabilize the whole thing. So we will put in two pegs at the end of this beam. This is a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. This is the 11 module beam. So we'll just put two pegs at the end of this beam, 11 module beam, so as to stabilize the whole structure, so it will be not be flimsy. Okay, so now it's still a little bit flimsy. Once we put it in, okay, you can see from here, we put it in and put both left and right in. Okay, so now it's in. Here click sound, so it's quite stable now, a little bit more stable than just now. Okay, yeah, so now there's a top and there's a bottom, so it is slightly better. Okay, now we will put a support here for the EV3, so that later the EV3, these two holes will stabilize itself here. Alright, so how do we do that? Very simple. We will use this special cross block. Okay, we will need, of course, a 3 module beam. Okay, 3 module beam. Once you put it through, it is very simple. Okay, it's just putting it through the axle across. Then after that we need 2 small cross block that put it across here, and the other one, of course, through the other side. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Now, of course, let us put 2 pegs underneath these 2 cross block. So it looks like that, just a little bit underneath the 2 cross block. Then after that, of course, you can bring this and try to put it at the center of the top beam that we have just created. Okay, so we just put it through, and this is, of course, we can put 2 more pegs on top for our EV3 later. Alright, so later your EV3 can just latch on here. Okay, now how to move this frame. Of course, besides the 2 motors that we have later, we will need a third wheel, which we call the caster wheel. Once the caster wheel, in NXT we use caster wheel because they don't have the steel ball, but it is good to know how to do a caster wheel in case you don't have the steel ball. Okay, so let's use a small beam to just attach it below, so that later we can attach the caster wheel. Okay, so let's just attach the 2 pegs at the left and right of the H-beam, and after that of course we put it on, we latch the whole thing on. Okay, we latch it on, so you can see that that it is now ready, and there are some spaces left. There's 3 holes left which we can play around. So now let's do the caster wheel. Caster wheel, generally people like to use these small wheels that we have. We will use this. The idea is that this wheel should be able to rotate as and when, not to be restricted by the motion, else it would disturb the movement of the robot. Alright, let's start with putting a 3M axle over this and use a half bush. Okay, half bush is something like that can put it through the axle. Okay. Now, if you wonder where to put this axle, of course we don't put it at the place where there is an axle mark. We want it to rotate freely, so we put it here. Put it through so that it can rotate freely. Okay? Then after that, of course, we put in the second one at the other side so that it's balanced. Then at the center, of course, we need to put in through another 3M axle. But you realize that the center is very empty. We need to fix it onto the body later. So what I would suggest is, as we put through, use another cross block so that it can support the whole structure later on. So we'll push it through. Alright, now it is done, the simple caster wheel. Of course, caster wheel you need to fix it into the pot later. Let's just use a bush and put it at the bottom of this caster wheel so that this beam can go through. Don't have to be a long beam, just a short beam. Once you put it through, as it fixes through the whole robot later, we will need to fix it through this 3-module cross block. Okay, this cross block is just meant to support the whole caster wheel. So let's just put 2 of the pack with cross into it. Alright, so you can see now we will be putting this into this place, and after that the caster wheel which we have done, we can just push it through the hole. Okay, then of course it will drop. That's why we need another bush to support it from the top. Okay, so this is how it looks like, and it can rotate when your robot move around the table, you know, move around. Alright, so this is the function of the caster wheel. Now, how do we support the rest of my EV3? I will need to use what we call a L-beam. Okay, initially my idea was to use this L-beam from the inside, but I realized that it's not so easy to change it when we are dealing with changing of battery. So now, instead of putting it inside, I decided to put it outside using 2 simple packs from the second hole and the 4th hole of the bottom. Alright, so this is how we do the first part. Push it into the outside, outside. We'll put it outside the top of the motor. Okay, so same thing for the other one. We will do it for the second hole and the 4th hole. Then we will do it outside. Fix it on. Alright, so now it looks from the top, it looks something like this. Now we will put in our EV3 and to see how it looks. So from the top, just link up. Alright, link up from the top. Alright, so you realize that now we have a beam. We can attach a beam here, so that later when we remove the beam, it will be easier rather than have to pull from outside. Okay, so let me just attach two pegs to the top. Let me check. Alright, this beam is a little bit long, so I would put it near the third. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and after that 1, blank 1, and do the third one. Okay, so basically it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th and the 9th hole. Once you have put it properly, you can link it up to the side of the EV3. Okay, somewhere here. After that, I'm going to push in a 3M from the side so that it will stick the whole thing together. But before that, let me do the other side also. The 7th and the 9th. So now this is meant more for like a support for the EV3. With now we will take the 3M and push it in from the side L beam using the vertical first and third hole. This is just to basically to stabilize the whole structure by pushing it in. Okay, so it takes some effort to push it in. Once it's pushed in, it should be quite okay. Then you can put in the third one from the side also. So this is how it looks from the side. Then we will do the same thing for the other one. Right now it doesn't seem to have enough, so I'll just use, I'll take two more. Okay, just give me a minute. Alright, I'm back with that two blue pack so that I can stabilize my structure a little bit. Alright, so from here, the first hole and the third hole. So now it's more structured. I hope that the wire. Now we are going to do the tire. Mine is a little bit different from yours. So basically what I'm going to do is to use a longer axle to push it through from one side and push through from the other side. So there's one bush here and one bush here. So let's push it in and see whether does it interfere with our movement. Alright, so look, from the look of it, there is definitely some restriction to the movement because of this 3M. So now I'll change the 3M to lock from inside instead. So I'll take out this 3M, and from the one probably stay outside. The bottom one I have to change it so that it locks from the inside. Okay, so now it looks a bit different. So now one from the inside and one change to the outside so that now it doesn't interfere with my movement. You can see that there's a small gap in between the tire and the block. So I'll be doing the same thing for the bottom on the other side. So I'll just pull it up and push it in from here. Alright, so that now with the same thing I can push in my axle to my tires, so that the most important thing about building is to maintain a symmetry about the whole of the building of this robot. So you can see now it is quite stable. Okay, yeah, okay. Alright, So now with this, you should be able to understand the different components that we want to do from a simple building. This is a very simple robot that we have built today. And of course, now we are talking about the wiring. Alright, let's start with the simpler wiring first, which starts from the back. Remember that when you want to plug in, you need to push in and hear a click sound. Alright, then after that we will move the whole thing over through the other end, and it comes out through here, and push the little wire a little bit so that it goes into the port which it says B. So when you use the other one and push it through, you must hear a click sound similarly. And after that, of course, you can push it through, turn the wire a little bit so that it goes through, and by the time it comes out, the idea of doing it is such that the wires don't get entangled later when you do your robot programming. So try to keep the wires as near to the body as possible so that it doesn't really entangles, and even later when you want to build some more, it's good to keep them near. Okay, now the last part is the light sensor. We just put in the wire first. Okay, now I want this light sensor to be near the body, away from the tire, so I would use 2 pegs, okay, to click onto the holes, the 1 and 3. This is the theory from drawing a line. Okay, you need 2 points to draw a line so it will be quite stable. So now I will put it on. Okay, put it on to using any 2 holes in the beam. So I just latch it on. Okay, so you can see that now my light sensor is latched on at the side here. Now I'll move the wire a little bit to show you. I'll push in the wire from the front. Alright. So the wires goes in through the front, and after that it goes through the other beam and goes under. Once you have it through, try to link it up to port 2. Alright, so with this, your robot building is finished. This robot have a light sensor and have 2 motors which you can use for the edited WRO competition. Alright, have fun. Bye.